Well, there's a few comments from the UFO video that I feel I should maybe address or expand upon. Nothing like, like "fuck you" or any of that kind of shit. Just a few, I guess, afterthoughts to the notion that aliens are the angels of atheists. Kinda. There is an idea that I originally encountered from science fiction author David Brin. That there's actually a tremendous amount of overlap in the legendary of UFOs and alien abductions and the legendary of fairy folk and fairy folk abductions and crop circles and fairy rings and strange lights in the night and all that kind of stuff. People disappearing and then coming back with no memory and all those sorts of things. So, I guess you could read that either way. Maybe that is like evidence that these things have been going on for a long time. Or what we're seeing is a modern expression of some weird embedded psychological hallucination. Who the hell knows? As to the idea that, well, I never said that I can't fathom a reason why aliens would come here. There's quite a large number of reasons why aliens might choose to come here. I have more problem with the logic of why they would come here and then, be so coy about it upon their arrival. The alien is not, by definition, unknowable. I mean, right off the bat, most of what I'm discussing kind of goes with the assumption that we are dealing with beings from the material universe as we know it. There's a certain uniformity to how the universe is put together from what we are able to observe of what we can see of it in terms of its composition and layout and how things seem to work. There are still certainly mysteries to be solved and question marks and problems with the math at some parts here and there, hence the whole phenomenon of dark matter and dark energy. But that being said, there is a certain reductive, admittedly, logic to assuming that anything that we do encounter that is alien and alive, even if chemically different and, having gone through its own different chain of events to lead it to having its own form that's capable of using machines and so on and so forth. It doesn't mean it's entirely unknowable. There will still be certain kinds of logic. We are surrounded on this planet by all sorts of alien life, and just in terms of all the other living life forms around us, from plants, animals, everything. That we don't know their minds or their true motivations, and yet, through analysis and study, we can deduce what drives a lot of creatures in terms of their own kind of animal psychology and all that kind of stuff. And so, I feel that, just for the sake of leaving it in this realm of pure cosmic definition of the word unknowably alien kind of a way of looking at things. It's like, well, then you can't, there's no navigating. You might as well just fucking just sit there and curl up in a fetal position and rock yourself to sleep. You have to, at some point, have to make certain assumptions in order to be able to make any sort of decisions or movements. Until it moves out of the position of something you have to believe in into something that you can know to be true, it's all just subjective guesswork. And so you have to, come up with some whatever parameters you're deciding to put together in order to be able to form any kind of opinion on what you might think is going on. So, like I said, I just have trouble with them being coy upon arrival after going to all this trouble to get here. You'd have to assume a lot on the in terms of some of the more kind of hippie, drippy, altruistic kind of notions about things. Your Carl Sagan style aliens, that are much more vastly above us. And, view us as infants on the beginning of a great path to cosmic understanding and enlightenment. That's, I feel far more unlikely in the spectrum of options than like your just more base industrial animal needs. Just the base drive that life has to constantly expand and move into areas and environments that it previously could not hold on to. I don't see why that would operate any differently anywhere else. In some ways, it's almost my own personal thesis that, human beings, in terms of our purpose in the great scheme of things, is like, well, in order for Earth to ever be able to, spread its life outside of its atmospheric envelope or to other planets, it's going to have to evolve some sort of vessel to carry that out. And what sort of life form exactly was going to ever evolve that was capable of doing that, except for something that can leach metals out of the ground and figure out radio pulses and, design airplanes and all that other kind of stuff. Which arguably you can't even necessarily even say is our true destiny, considering that we all live in the midst of a strange historical anomaly that's only been going on for a few centuries compared to the 200 to 300,000 years that we were around just in this particular form of human, let alone the millions plus years we were as various kinds of hominids. And that's also discounting our time as lemurs and tree shrews. Even, I mean, they were still our ancestors, and so, like to say that it is destiny to develop all this sort of technological know-how, I guess that depends on exactly what you think destiny is. What we are definitively is we are the most magical thing that's ever emerged from the earth, but whether or not other creatures capable of such things, I still feel that is a big ask. And as I say, it still falls into this realm of you still just gotta have to believe it, because they have nothing definitive to show us either way, and there's no amount of money that you can spend to guarantee you can go and look at it yourself. Speaking of which, to the ongoing doubt about the moon landing, just a couple basic things. Our enemies confirmed that it happened, and they had China, Russia, other people who are capable of going up there and verifying it have every reason to point out that, hey, everyone, America was lying, and we can prove it on the world stage, and yet they back us up on those claims. So, you can take that however you want it. Also, it actually does fall into the category of you can spend enough money to verify it yourself. You might not be able to go there and touch it, but, I feel telescopes and cameras are a relatively, trustworthy thing. We do know what we're doing when we're focusing crystals and glass to be able to, extend one's range of vision and shit with a good enough telescope. And all that kind of stuff, and with spending enough money to get yourself even closer if you feel like you have to have a real kind of blunt, old-fashioned telescope. There's a chain of things that can be done that can allow someone to self-verify that human beings actually did go up there. If not go up there your fucking self. The problem with doing that is less so much a thing with money, is that a problem with a good chunk of our space endeavors right now is there's a tremendous amount of red tape at the corporate level because of insurance, more than anything else. That's kind of hidden in the whole process. But God damn it, guys, it's not quite the same thing as having to just accept on faith that it happened. No one's gone to the trouble to do so yet, but it is conceivable that you can go to the trouble to verify that these events happened by checking to see that there's still stuff up there that was left behind that can be provenly verified. Like I said, it's just hyper expensive, and there's a lot of red tape in the way, but it's not the same as buying a ticket to go look at an alien body at Area 51 kind of shit. So anyway, I guess those are my thoughts on some comments from that video, and hopefully this will be the last we talk about unidentified flying objects. Ugh.